The Jewish Channel's Week in Review. Jewish chaplains have their sacrifices recognized. Recognizing women generates controversy in Hasidic areas. And more of the Jewish news that's changing your world right now in this episode of the Week in Review. Hello and welcome to the Jewish Channel's Week in Review. I'm Stephen I. Weiss. Ultra-Orthodox sex separation is bumping up against civil authorities in the U.S. this month. Uproar over women being told to move to the back of a city bus in Brooklyn has brought national attention to the cloistered Hasidic communities there. The B-110 bus runs through the ultra-Orthodox areas of Borough Park and Williamsburg and is operated for the Transportation Authority by a private company, the Private Transportation Corp. Signs on the bus ask women to move to the back of the bus when it is crowded to further ultra-Orthodox standards for separation of the sexes. The controversial policies on the bus route violate state laws and regulations, and the bus has been ordered to end the practice of sex separation. The existence of the sex-separated bus came to popular attention after it was highlighted in a story in the New York World. Another story of sex separation that created conflict with authorities was the hanging of signs asking women in Williamsburg streets to step aside for men passing by. The signs, nailed to trees in the heavily Hasidic area, stated in Yiddish, "Precious Jewish daughter. Please move to the side when a man comes near." The signs were posted for more than a week and ignited a media uproar. They were ultimately removed by Parks Department officials as nailing signs to trees is illegal in the city. But in a more tragic story of alleged child abuse, a 58-year-old rabbi in Monsey, New York has been charged with sexual abuse of a 14-year-old boy on 7 occasions. Rabbi Moshe Turner posted a $75,000 bail, and his attorney has said he'll be pleading not guilty. Meantime, the well-known case against the alleged murderer of 8-year-old Hasidic boy Leiby Kletzky could be in trouble. Attorneys for Levi Aron, the imprisoned man who reportedly confessed to the crime, say his confession was coerced, that police told him what to write in his confession, and that he is not sane enough to be aware of the implications of his actions. Attorneys are pursuing an insanity defense for Aron, who was arrested after he was found with the boy's body parts in his home. But moving from the story of a boy who was tragically killed while walking home to the story of Jews killed in the line of duty. 14 Jewish chaplains have died in wars while serving Jewish soldiers seeking spiritual guidance. A memorial to those chaplains was unveiled last week, and Christian Needon was there.
The Lions of Judah found a new home this week as a memorial plaque to America's Jewish military chaplains was dedicated at Arlington National Cemetery. Recently, the bronze plaque made an appearance at the JCC of Central New Jersey, and sacrifice was the topic of the invocation given by hospice chaplain Rabbi Moshe Abramowitz.
This morning we acknowledge their loyalty and service in time of war, service to our nation and loyalty to our faith. Their sacrifice, often described as the ultimate price to be paid by those in the military, has not been adequately celebrated until now. May those who see this plaque and hear their story find their names and their memories to be a blessing.
Saul Moglin, who raised $50,000 to help pay for the memorial, said he wanted to see it built because while there are Catholic and Protestant monuments on Arlington's Chaplains Hill dedicated to chaplains who died in foreign wars, there was nothing for the 14 Jewish chaplains who had given their lives in those wars. That is, until now. But the memorial's appearance was in question because of Moglin's insistence on having the Lions of Judah on its face.
As you can see, we had a battle with them because they wanted only military designs, and the chaplain's design in the center is the 10 Commandments with the Star of David, and I wanted to add the Lions of Judah, and they told me no. But when I told them that I have no objection to having the Catholic monument with the cross and Jesus on the cross, I said, it's fine, but don't tell me we can't have the Lions. And with the Admiral, we fought for them.
The Admiral which Moglin referred to is Rabbi Harold Robinson, a former long-serving Navy chaplain who now leads the Jewish Welfare Board's Jewish Chaplains Council. Robinson noted that beyond the 14 chaplains inscribed on the plaque, he estimated that Jews make up roughly 1% of the U.S. military force.
1% of the fatalities of these last 2 wars have reached Kever Yisrael, have been Jews, have been buried as Jews. 1% of the fatalities. And so some kid may not fill out the paperwork the second day of boot camp, or may fill it out and kind of leave that off because he's not sure how that's going to play with his drill instructor. But there's a paperwork that that 43 Jews haven't been able to avoid. That full sacrifice.
Among those looking at the 14 names on the plaque, as well as their biographical information displayed nearby, were several war veterans whose presence was acknowledged during remarks by Congressman Leonard Lance, who co-sponsored legislation for the monument's construction.
Chaplains of all denominations have played very important roles in addressing the needs of our military men and women, including those in this audience who are the veterans of various conflicts and who have served us so well. Ladies and gentlemen, will you join me in thanking all of the veterans who are in the audience this evening?
To see more from the ceremony, please tune in to the full broadcast edition of the Week in Review.
Thank you, Christian. Sticking with the topic of Jews in the armed forces, Israel's armed forces are famous for many reasons, but one of those is their unique martial art form for hand-to-hand combat called Krav Maga. Meredith Gansman caught up with one of the grand masters of the form, and here's her story.
Krav Maga is the official self-defense system of the Israeli Defense Forces. It also makes for an excellent workout. But can an uncoordinated, athletically challenged reporter master this martial art? I went to the Krav Maga Institute in New York to find out. Developed in the 1930s and 40s by Emi Lichtenfeld, a renowned police officer and circus acrobat from Bratislava, Krav Maga combines self-defense techniques and combat skills. Avi Moyal has been teaching Krav Maga for more than 30 years and is the chairman of the International Krav Maga Federation. He explained the basic principle of Krav Maga is to enhance an individual's natural instincts.
We are born with self-defense reflex. If somebody runs to the street and a car is coming, his reaction will do like this. Everybody can learn because everybody have the natural reaction, and we are adapting the system to everybody's ability.
This practical self-defense training can also increase fitness levels.
You are moving through obstacles, which is very stressful mentally. Physically, it's very hard, and you are using your reflex.
For more on Krav Maga, watch the full broadcast version of the Week in Review.
Thank you, Meredith. While we're talking about Israel, the recent debate among candidates for the Republican nomination for president touched on Israel repeatedly. Here are those clips.
That foreign aid makes Israel dependent on us. It softens them for their own economy, and they should have their sovereignty back. They should be able to deal with their neighbors at their own will.
Should we cut foreign aid to Israel?
No, we should not be cutting foreign aid to Israel. Israel is our greatest ally. The biggest problem is the fact that the biggest problem with this administration and foreign policy is that President Obama, as the first president since Israel declared her sovereignty, put daylight between the United States and Israel. That heavily contributed to the current hostilities.
If we clarify who our friends are, clarify who our enemies are, and stop giving money to our enemies, then we ought to continue to give money to our friends like Israel.
That's all for this week from all of us here at The Jewish Channel. Be well. The Jewish Channel is available on cable. Time Warner Cable Channel 528, IO Optimum Channel 291, RCN Channel 268, Bright House Channel 330, Verizon Fios Channel 900, Cox Channel 1, Frontier Communications, and now on Comcast Cable in the on-demand menu under Premium Channels. For more information, visit tjctv.com.